Hello, family. My name is Charles Thomas, coming at you again for more enlightenment and for an update and to express my concerns as to uh, where we are in life and what happened to us in life to cause us to be so dysfunctional. Okay, first I'm going to start off with expressing peace and harmony to you, the family, former slaves, and to let you know that it's a blessing as to what we've been through as a people. And we're going to get into the meat of that after we do this quick prayer of righteousness that I want you to learn and memorize and practice. In the name of righteousness, most gracious and most merciful, all praises are due to righteousness, the Lord of all the worlds, most gracious and most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and thine aid do we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, not those whose portion is wrath, nor those who go astray from righteousness. Ashe. Thanks again. And what I want to get to in this conversation is why reparations is so important to former slaves or people of melanin, based on what uh, humanity has done to us under the synopsis of religion. It has altered our nature of righteousness, and it has taken us into uh, a dimension that we are not capable of handling, which is lies and deception. And as long as they can keep us under religion, then they will have the upper hand or the control of our future. And it's up to us as melanin people to understand and come to grip with what we have been through as a people under religion. Religion is the strongest drug in the world. It has captured more people than any drug or synthetic drug that can be made. And we are okay with that. But it's a terrible situation to be in. And that's what the rapture is all about, what you read about in your book called the Bible, the version that King James gave you. And King James was not your friend, or any Catholic religion is not a friend to the melanin people. Their job is to keep you under the influence of this false man made religion. And I'm not mad at them because everybody was given a time to come into power. And they used that religion to come into power and to influence and to dominate and to conquer other people so that they could have a place in history. But it is not a permanent thing, it's a temporary thing, especially for melanin people. We have to understand as a people that we are asking for reparations based on what we have suffered under the religion of Christianity. And there is no religion that man has made that is conducive to the nature of a melanin person. A melanin person was created for righteousness, not deception, not lies, not myths, and not stories. And I'm talking about the stories that's in the Bible. The Old Testament was created to get an understanding and to maintain your connection to the covenant of righteousness. The Catholic Church created the New Testament so that they can get you to follow the path of a man-made religion. That's your baptism, is the new covenant. That's what you've been baptized in. That was your submersion. You were submerged into the New Testament. The Old Testament is what God wants you to follow. And light means guidance. You can be guided with light. But if you ain't got no light, then you're going to stumble and fall and be in the situation that we are in as a people. And it's up to us as a people to show the world that religion is a deceptive drug, a spell. It's not necessary for us to be involved in a man-made synthetic or genetic religion. It will alter your behavior because you're not a genetic person. You are an original person. And I'm not, if you want to stay in Christianity, that's all right. But I'm telling you that it's a trap and that it's not conducive. The people that benefit from Christianity are the people that created Christianity. Black people, you're not benefiting from it. It's been a pain for you. It's been your punishment as a people. And that's where reparations comes in. We need reparations to come out of the effects of what religion has done to us as a people. I'm not trying to give you a snow job I'm just trying to tell you the truth, to open your eyes as to what we have suffered under Christianity, which is really anti-Christ. It's anti-righteousness. And your God created man in righteousness, not in deception, not in murder. You know, what people will use the symbol of a murdered man as a religion for you to worship. You don't worship the death of anybody. That is totally wrong. That man didn't enjoy suffering and being nailed to another man's religion, which he had nothing about, knew nothing about, was not aware of. But he didn't want to get up there. That's why they had to nail him to the cross of their religion. And then they turn around and use their religion in their conquest to conquer the world. For you to believe in that murder, because they were telling you if you didn't follow the religious belief, this was going to happen to you. That was what the sign of that cross represents. That's why in the South, they will burn the cross to purify the cross. And black preachers are not your friend. Black preachers are condoning the murder of a prophet. And then the Catholic Church turned around and they said that the prophet was white. He was not a white person. That's the beginning of white supremacy. There's no person better than another person. We have to understand that we are all God's children. And the God that we should be worshiping is righteousness. Righteousness ushers harmony into humanity. It's not a sign of hate. Righteousness is pure and innocent, and it's open to everybody. If you look at creation, you can see righteousness. If you look at religion, you can see death. You can see pain. You can see suffering. And you have experienced it. In your DNA, we are passing down that hate and that fear from one generation to the next generation. Every time that you go to a church and sit under that cross, you are extending the life of white supremacy, or you are extending the life of a murdered prophet. And when he comes back, like he said he was coming back, and you are sitting under something that he suffered under and worshiping that and rejoicing under that, it's not going to be a good day for you. That's why you got to get out of religion. Moses said stay away from religion, and Abraham said stay away from religion. So you got to make up your mind and ask yourself, what has religion done for you? What has these black preachers done for you? They take your money, your tithe and offerings, and they give it to the white supremacy religion. And then the white supremacy religion invested, and they double their money, and then they create things to keep you captivated with this ghost spell under religion. And we are financing it. And these black preachers, they don't want you to have reparations because they're not going to represent you in your pain and your suffering under religion, because they believe more in religion than they do in righteousness. You ain't got to set up under no church or worship no cross or eat the blood or drink the blood and eat the flesh of a murder scenario. You got to wise up and understand what that means. I wear the Star of David not because of the Jewish faith. I wear the Star of David because in Ethiopia, the cross that was used in Ethiopia was that there's two paths in life, and they start at zero. Right? Zero's in the center of this Star of David, and there's two directions in life. There's a up and there's a down, and they're opposites, but they lead from zero. Thus, it's a reminder for me that the physical world, which is here where we are, as a punishment, because we got thrown out of heaven and thrown into this physical world. But your world is really in the spiritual world, which is the arrow that points up. But as you're going up, you have to stay at zero. You got to humble yourself. You got to be patient. You got to use love. You got to use kindness. You got to use mercy. You can't have anything to do with hate. You have to be like when you first came into this dimension as a child. You were a pure spirit. You were at zero. You were a child. So you got to stay as a child. But you also have to respect and appreciate righteousness and work from the foundation of zero, which is righteousness, and go out into the world and conquer the world with and through righteousness. That's why I wear the Star of David. And that's why David stole the heart of his creator, because he was under the sign of the zero of righteousness and obedience. Even though you get away from it, you can come back to it because he'll forgive you. But as long as you stay in religion, religion is your pain and your suffering for being out of the covenant. When I was in Ghana and I was in the slave dungeon, which is beneath a church in Ghana, and it was our suffering. The door of no return was under religion. And God told you in Deuteronomy 28 that if you break my covenant of righteousness, I'll make you a slave to another people. And that people will not show you the mercy, and you won't know their language. And you'll come to this land in a galley. Read it and embrace it, because you're reading black history. But they put it under a false religion. Get away from religion. That's our rapture. Appreciate who you are and what you've been through. It made you a better person. But if you don't use righteousness, it's no good for you. You have to show yourself, approve yourself through righteousness, not through religion. Religion is your enemy. And you, as a person, you have, because you're in this dimension, you are the best of your bloodline. And then when you die, then the person that inherits your soul and your bloodline, your blood, your DNA, then they gotta also represent you and your spirit that's within you. Your blood is everything, and you are everything is in your blood. So enjoy your righteousness while you're living, and go back to your righteousness, and the universe will bless you for going back to your righteousness. So when you go and transition to the next dimension, you will be, and your blood will be a stronger blood, because you are connected to your ancestors. And it's not no ghostly thing, or it's a spiritual connection. There's two paths in life. There's a negative path in life, and there's a positive path in life. You have to stay at zero and enjoy the positive. And stay in that child and work through righteousness, and work through love, and work through patience, work through the attributes of God, not the attributes of religion. And that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. And it's been a peaceful journey ever since I've made the connection to who and what the scripture is all about. When Moses seen the burning bush, you know a bush don't talk. But because white Christians, the Catholic Church, didn't understand spirituality, they said that it was a burning bush. But you have to read the Bible of Ethiopia to get your footing, so that you can understand these things. You have to remember that Moses was adopted by Egypt, right? So the bush, look at the tree of life. Look at the information that comes from that tree of life. Not a burning bush. It was his ancestors speaking to him through that tree of life. Don't be stupid and think a burning bush can talk. If it would, with all these fires in the forest, they would be screaming for help. Use your common sense. Get out of that mythical thing. And the bush was a tree of his ancestors that was talking to him, that he went up on the mountain with and had a conversation with. And they gave him the law of the covenant. And that's how he was able to perform all these miracles. But you think because you are in a religious state of mind that religion is causing these miracles. In your Bible that the Catholic Church created, the miracles come through you being obedient to righteousness, not to religion. Religion is only serving the people that created it. The people that are under religion are suffering. Just look at your condition. Okay, I hope you can use what I just gave you. Now I'm going to go back to the prayer of righteousness. In the name of righteousness, most gracious and most merciful, all praises are due to righteousness, the Lord of all the worlds, most gracious and most merciful. Thee do we worship, and thine aid do we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, not those whose portion is wrath, nor those who go astray from righteousness. Ashe. And thank the ancestors. Ashe.